A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court by Mark Twain, Chapter 3, Knights of the Round Table. Mainly the Round Table talk was monologues, narrative accounts of the adventures in which these prisoners were captured, and their friends and backers killed and stripped of their steeds and armor. As a general thing, as far as I could make out, these murderous adventures were not forays undertaken to avenge injuries, nor to settle old disputes or sudden fallings out. No. As a rule, they were simply duels between strangers, duels between people who had never even been introduced to each other, and between them existed no cause of offense whatever. Many a time I had seen a couple of boys, strangers, meet by chance and say simultaneously, "I can lick you," and go at it on the spot. But I had always imagined until now that that sort of thing belonged to children only, and was a sign and mark of childhood. But here, with these big boobies sticking it out and taking pride in it clear up into full age and beyond, yet there was something very engaging about these great simple-hearted creatures, something attractive and lovable. There did not seem to be brains enough in the entire nursery, so to speak, to bait a fish-hook with, but you didn't seem to mind that, because, after a little, because you soon saw that brains were not needed in society like that, and indeed would have marred it, hindered it, spoiled its symmetry, perhaps rendered its existence impossible. There was a fine manliness observable in almost every face, and in some a certain loftiness and sweetness that rebuked your belittling criticisms and stilled them. A most noble benignity and purity reposed in the countenance of him called Sir Galahad, and likewise in the king's also, and there was a majesty and greatness in the great frame and bearing of Sir Launcelot of the Lake. There was presently an incident which centred the great interest upon Sir Launcelot. At a sign from a sort of master of ceremonies, 6 or 8 of the prisoners rose and came forward in a body, and knelt on the floor, and lifted their hands toward the ladies' gallery, and begged the grace of a word with the Queen. And the most conspicuously situated lady, in that massed flower-bed of feminine show and finery, inclined her head by way of assent, and then the spokesman of the prisoners delivered himself and his fellows into her hands, for free pardon, ransom, captivity, or death, as she in her good pleasure might elect. And this, as he said, he was doing by command of Sir Kay the Seneschal, whose prisoners they were, he having vanquished them by single might and prowess in sturdy conflict in the field. Surprise and astonishment flashed from face to face over all the house. The Queen's gratified smile faded out at the name of Sir Kay, and she looked disappointed, and the page whispered in my ear with an assent and manner expressive of extravagant derision, "Sir Kay, forsooth! Oh, call me pet names, dearest. Call me a marine. In twice 1,000 years shall the unholy invention of man labour at odds to begat the fellow of this majestic lie." Every eye was fastened with severe inquiry upon Sir Kay, but he was equal to the occasion. He got up and played his hand like a major, and took every trick. He said he would state the case exactly according to the facts. He would tell the simple, straightforward tale without comment of his own. "And then," said he, "if ye find glory and honour due, ye will give it unto him who is the mightiest man of his hands that ever bare shield or stake with sword in the ranks of Christian battle, even him that sitteth there." And he pointed at Sir Launcelot. He fetched them. It was a rattling good stroke. Then he went and told how Sir Launcelot, seeking adventures, some brief time gone, killed 7 giants at one sweep with his sword, and set 142 captive maidens free, and then went further, still seeking adventures, and found him, Sir Kay, fighting a desperate fight against 9 foreign knights, and straightway took the battle solely into his own hands,